Everyone wants something that's going to give them value. If you stop and think about this for a moment, whenever you pick out a new book, whenever you see a new movie, listen to a podcast, or listen to a YouTube video, you're looking to get value out of it. You want it to be valuable for you. Otherwise, you're going to stop reading the book. You're going to stop watching the movie. Also, you want value out of like work relationships. So if you hire a new employee, you want to be able to get value out of them. In romantic relationships, you want to, if you're getting into a new romantic relationship, you expect to get value out of that relationship. If you're in a current relationship, then you want to have that relationship be valuable to you. If it's not, then sometimes that's when your relationships can kind of go like wonky. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to be more valuable to others. And then the other thing is we want to be valued too. We want others to value us. So we're going to be talking about how we get our own value, how to make sure that we know that we're appreciated. Aloha, I'm Sabrina with Begin Being, and I'm here in Toronto. So we've been doing a live event over the past 4 days, and it's been snowing here. It's been absolutely beautiful and amazing and quite cold. So I went and I took a hike this morning, and I was wearing my hat and gloves, and my scarf, and all bundled up against the winter weather. I'm not really used to winter weather, so it was super fun for me. I love listening to the crunch of the snow in my boots. There is also a lovely sauna at the hotel. So next to the sauna is like this balcony that you can go out on. And so I've been doing some hot sauna and then going barefoot walking in the snow on the balcony to get the hot, cold, not necessarily a plunge in this particular case, but hot, cold therapy. Because I love doing that. And to me, those are things that I get value out of. I get value out of being able to put my body in the extreme temperatures because there's multiple health reasons for that, a different video. I also get value out of being out in nature, out of going out in hikes. And I love the sound the snow makes, like when you're stepping on it, whether it's a barefoot, like I was doing up on the balcony, or this morning in my hiking boots. I love that crunch, and I love the stillness that happens when you're in a snow environment. It's almost like a blanket has been kind of put over sound, and so everything just kind of it's almost like it stops. And there's just this certain silence when everything's covered in snow. I was actually originally going to film outside. It's been extremely windy out there as well. So not only with the cold 16 degrees out there, it was also the wind that was also blowing everything. And so I'm like, that probably wouldn't be so good for the camera. So I'm indoors, I'm in the hotel, and I've got this cool little glass background behind me. So maybe close second, you can kind of see the outdoors. But again, that's stuff that I get value out of. Whenever you're looking to get value out of something, does it light you up? Are you feeling that good, warm, fuzzy feeling whenever you're doing whatever it is that you love to do? If you hire a new employee, are they doing the task that you're asking them to do? And not only are they doing that, are they doing it in the way that it brings value to you, to your company, and to the other employees? So you can think about that for a moment. Think about all of your employees that you have. Are they bringing that to the table? Same thing with your romantic relationship. Do you find value in being with that person? Maybe it's the end of the day, you guys come home from work or whatever your situation is. Maybe you just wrap yourselves up in bed and snuggle at night. Is that providing value to you? And here's the thing, if those things aren't providing value to you, then, well, why are you doing them? And sometimes we get so distracted in life. Sometimes in life we're going about our normal day-to-day business, and we forget to think about what makes us happy. We forget to think about, well, what brings us pleasure? What brings us joy? What are we getting value out of? So with this, I invite you to stop. I invite you to stop for a moment and analyze the people in your lives. Are they bringing you value? Or are they just, so everybody goes through things. So everybody sometimes has their baggage, their stuff that they go through. And it's a matter of, there's certain people who they have their baggage, they're in their stuff, and they're not willing to let it go. So your conversations become conversations about like, oh, my life sucks, this is horrible. And then those kind of conversations, they're not bringing value to you, or at least hopefully they're not, because they're not very positive conversations. And so it's, well, okay, well, what do you do in that particular situation? Maybe you ask the friend, you give them guidance, you give them help. And hopefully, most of the time, they either take the guidance or they find ways to be able to help themselves to get them out of what's going on. Now, again, sometimes everybody goes through things. People go through breakups or job losses or whatever it might be. People go through down moments, and that's perfectly okay. I'm not talking about the down moments. I'm talking about the people who are constantly the victim, the people who are constantly the martyr, who are constantly like, oh, poor me, my life sucks, it's horrible, can you be in misery with me? That part's not fun. That part's not bringing value to the table. And if you are one of those people, if you're always talking about how much your life sucks, if you're always going on about the non-fun stuff, maybe it's time to let it go. Maybe it's time to get some help so that you're not constantly the friend that's always miserable. Now, again, I want to be very clear. I've gone through some pretty traumatic things in my life. So in no way would I ever say to anybody like, oh, just be happy all the time, because that's not possible. It's not possible to be happy all the time. What I'm referring to is your base state. Is your base state one to where you feel valued and you're bringing values to others? If you're in a romantic relationship and your partner is constantly in their sympathetic nervous system, like they're constantly in that state of fight or flight, and they're constantly like, my job this, my friend this, my whatever, mom, dad, whatever this. If they're constantly in that state, then it's going to affect you. It could possibly put you in that state as well. At minimum, it's going to affect the relationship. So how do you get from that? How do you transition from being in the state of you're constantly in that fight or flight, you're constantly in that woe is me, or constantly playing the victim? How do you get out of that, or how do you help somebody get out of that? We're going to be talking more about that. And then how do you bring value to others? So if you're starting a new job, how do you make sure you're building value and bringing that value to the other employees and to your boss? If you are an entrepreneur, or maybe you're a team lead and you're leading other people, how do you bring value so that you're at the top of your game, so that it trickles down to your employees? So how do you provide value for your employees or for the team that you're leading? And then how do you make sure that you are valued yourself? How do you make sure that other people value you? What do you do, or what do you tell them that works for you so that you feel valued and that you feel appreciated as well? Because it's a two-way street, right? You want to bring value to others, and you want others to value you as well. For example, in making this video, my hope is that I'm bringing you value. You can bring me value by liking, subscribing, sharing, telling your friends, having other people watch the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how I get value, by making the video. Hopefully you're getting value by watching all of my videos and getting information out of it. So in order to bring value to others, the first thing we want to do is look at, well, what are their values? What do they consider something that's valuable to them? So if you're a new employee and you're starting at a new job, all you have to do is ask. Just ask your boss, like, hey, what are the things that you're looking for me to do? So often when we start new things like that, so often we get so consumed with, okay, I've got to be perfect. I've got to like make sure they like me. I can't be seen as maybe being stupid or not knowing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I need to just fake it till I make it. Or I need to just, shut up and let them tell me what to do. When we forget it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be like, hey, I want to be the best at this job. What do you value? What is it that you really want me to do? I want to just not do the basic. I want to go above and beyond. What does that look like to you? So a lot of it is really just asking them, just being upfront and asking them, what do you find valuable in an employee? And being open and vulnerable with them and let them know, hey, You want to be able to provide that value for them. You want to be able to be their go-to, their right hand. If you're a boss, or you're an entrepreneur, maybe you have employees, or maybe you're a team lead, you want to ask the same thing of your employees, whether they're new employees or whether you've had them for a long time. Ask them, hey, how can I make your day better? What is it that we can do as a company that you would find enjoyable? You can also sometimes even ask them, hey, do you like your job? So I used to be the vice president of our company, one of the vice presidents. And what I would do is I would have meetings with my team members and I would say, hey, here's the things you're currently doing. What are the things you love? And what are the things that you really don't like doing? And by surveying them and asking them, and also noticing what they excel at, noticing what they struggle at, then I was able to rearrange the team and give them different tasks. Because if you ask your employees, what do you like to do? And then you assign them those tasks and you take away the tasks they don't like to do, they're going to be happier. They're going to be more productive. They're going to be like excited to come to work. And ultimately that's what we want, right? We want to enjoy our jobs, even if the job itself is just kind of a meh job. If you can at least make it more fun and more enjoyable for them, then they're going to be happy when they're at work. And when they're happy and they're like, wow, I love this company because this company really cares about me. Because when you talk to your employees, when you ask them those types of things, then they think, wow, this person really cares, which is true. I really do care. And again, that's that exchange of value, right? And if you're a boss, you can then let them know, okay, I appreciate you telling me all of these things that you enjoy. Here are the things that I would enjoy seeing from you. Now, of course, there's going to be times where they're going to have to do things that they don't like. That's normally part of life. And overall, if the majority of things that they're doing are things that they like, things that they love, things that like light them up and get them excited, then the things that they kind of are just like, I don't really want to do this, they're more likely to even do those tasks with joy because they know, hey, my boss listened to me. My boss is giving me these different things to where she knows or he knows that I like these, I enjoy these. So then the tasks that they don't enjoy as much, they're going to be okay with that. And the same exact thing applies to a relationship as well. So when you're getting into a new relationship, let them know your values. Let them know like what makes you feel appreciated. There's lots of different ways to do this. There's values assessments that you can take. There's there's like 5 love languages. I think there's 7 or so now, but you can take those love languages tests. You can take personality type tests. I actually offer a masculine and feminine therapy assessment. It's absolutely for free. You can click on the link below to take it. You can share it with your loved ones. You can share it with your coworkers. You can share it with your teammates, your employees, even your boss. You can recommend it as well, because that will let people know where they're at on that particular assessment, where they're coming from on that scale. I have a lot of other videos on the masculine and feminine in relation to relationships and in relation to also in a work environment too. So there's lots of different ways you can just assess where you're at. Like, what are you value? And again, you can also ask too. So you can ask your partner, like I said, maybe it's a new relationship, like, hey, what are the things you find important? What are the things that you would like me to do that you find important? For one, it's just an example. So I was in a relationship a little bit ago, short little relationship. And one of the things was that came up was just saying thank you, right? So I had my style of saying thank you, which was more of like the way I do it, like the way I express gratitude is kind of like talking about all of the different things that happened during the day. Like at the end of the day, you're in bed, you're snuggling, and it's like, hey, thank you for this, this, and this. I really appreciate it. And it turns out that he really wanted the thank yous, the gratitude in the moment. So he wanted, if he, like, say, bought me dinner, for example, he wanted the thank you, like, right then and there. We were able to have that conversation and discuss it. And then I was like, oh, okay, perfect. Then I will thank you right then and there, because that was something that he valued. And what I want to make clear about this, it's not that you're always just doing like what the other person wants. It's something that was something so simple that of course I'm going to do that for him, because that's something that he values. And then he can ask me, well, what do I value? What do I want out of a relationship? Well, I loved things like him buying me dinner, for example. That was something that I valued and that I appreciated. And sometimes when I'm doing trainings and stuff, we're in the classroom for like, many hours, sometimes like 10 hours or so, 12 hours in the classroom. Sometimes by the end of the day, I'm exhausted after the live training. And one of the things that I really value was him like picking the food plate, like the restaurant we are going to go to, and then just taking care of dinner, helping me even choose dinner because my mind is just like, you know what I like help me with this. And so that was something that I valued. So that was something that he did for me. And when you know each other's values like that, you're able to reciprocate. Now, that's something super easy. A lot of values, they're a lot deeper than that. I'm giving you kind of more of a surface level value because without taking certain assessments, it's hard to know consciously your deeper level of values because your values, like your deep level values, are at the unconscious level. So for that, you'd have to take something like an assessment. And again, it can also be as easy as just simply telling them, just simply talking about it, like I was mentioning with my employees or with my ex. And then you also want to just check in with people. So maybe you've gathered their values, you've gathered things that they enjoy. Maybe it's something like, hey, I just enjoy going on hikes and I would like you to come with me. Maybe you've gathered some of these different things that they enjoy. You've told them the things that you enjoy. And then it's important to check in. Hey, have I been meeting your values? You can just ask your boss, like, hey, these are the different things that I've been doing. I just want to check in with you. You don't have to wait for the 1-year review. That's another mistake that people often make in the workplace is they wait for their 1-year review and they get to the review and they're like, okay, how did I do? And your boss is like, well, you sucked. Okay, they probably don't say that because then HR would get called and there would be like a whole thing. The point is that they have different ways of saying it. They were like, well, we really were looking for you to do this or this, and we really didn't see that from you. If you never ask them, if you never check in with them to be like, hey, how am I doing? Then yeah, you might end up with a not so positive review. Even if you do end up with a positive review and they were like, you've been doing great. So for example, one of my friends had a review recently and it was like the end of the year kind of thing, and they were having this company party and then it was like, surprise, you got this award for being top in what he was doing. And he was like, wow, I had no idea this was going to happen. If you had been checking in the whole time, then it probably wouldn't have been as much of a surprise. It wouldn't have been like, oh, wow, I didn't really know that they thought so highly of me. If you check in, you're going to know that feedback throughout the year, and then you can even up level even more. It's really great. They think that I'm doing amazing right now. How can I take that even further? Then you're going to do things like get promotions, get raises, and really truly make yourself valuable to them. And at the same time, again, check in with them as far as like making sure they know your values. You can even have a conversation with them. It's like, hey, I've been meeting all of these things. Like, is this good? Is this good? Yes. Okay, perfect. All right. So is it okay if I give you some feedback too? As in, I just want to share with you like the different things that are important to me. Is that okay if we talk about this? Most of the time your boss is going to be like, yeah, of course. And then you go into a conversation of like, hey, I really love this. I love this. Is it possible? And if it's okay, I totally get it. And if it's possible, can we do this and this over here? Because that would bring me value. And then you're going to be able to open up to that conversation. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is employees, they just start kind of like getting grumpy, right? They're just like, well, he didn't do this, or this didn't happen, or I have to do this or that, or whatever. And if you have that conversation, maybe the answer is no. As long as you're polite about it, as long as you open up the conversation and not be demanding, your bosses are going to be willing to hear you. And hey, maybe they say no, but maybe it opens up something. Maybe they might just say, I'm going to have to look into this. I don't know if we can do that right now, but maybe that might be something we can add in the future or something we can, shift for you in the future. The same thing with relationships. Check in with them. Hey, you have a different way of receiving or liking to receive gratitude. Have I been meeting those values? Have I been meeting those needs for you? Or am I still running my old pattern of, saying the gratefulness like at the end of the day? So you just check in with them. Do you feel valued? Do you feel like I'm providing value to the relationship? And same thing with them. Like you can tell them, hey, I'm not feeling so valued right now. Or you can, um, I absolutely, if you are feeling valued, that is probably one of the best things that you can do for the relationship is thank them. Say, hey, I let you know these different things that I really enjoy. And I appreciate so much that you've been hitting all of them, because that makes them feel good too. That makes them feel valued. That makes them feel like they're providing value to the relationship itself. Now, an interesting thing about relationships with romantic ones is that it's not just you, the other person. It's not that there's just these two people. It's also that there's the relationship itself. So you want to make sure that you're feeling valued, that they're feeling valued, that they're valuing you, and that the two of you are valuing the relationship, and that you're doing things to feed the relationship itself. You can do things like go on date nights, make sure that you're growing and feeding the relationship, especially if you're like a couple with children. You want to make sure that you are getting you time with the two of you without the kids. So it's great to have family time. Absolutely 100%. It's great to have family time. And you also want to make sure that there are times for just the two of you to connect. Whether that maybe is just, an hour in the bedroom. Okay, hold on. Not like that. Well, that like that too. I'm referring to, though, just maybe some alone time, even if it's you can't go out on date nights right now for whatever reason. As long as maybe put the kids to bed and then just share, not watching TV, or I mean actually communicating with each other, checking in with each other, spending time with each other, because sometimes in our lives we can get so bogged down of just like, oh, I got to go to work. Okay, now I got to come home. Now I got to make dinner. Got to help the kids with their homework. I got to get them their baths and put them to bed and whatever all those other things is, that sometimes we forget about each other. Sometimes we forget about ourselves too. So make sure you have, if you need it, some people who are like extreme on the extrovert scale don't really need alone time. People who are even extroverts who are lower on the scale, they need alone time too. People who are more in the middle or then going more into introvert, they definitely need alone time. So if you're with someone who is more on the introvert side of the scale, definitely make sure they're getting their alone time too as well, because that can be a value for them. All right, so to wrap up this video, how do you provide more value and how do you feel valued? Well, you can provide more value by asking what is it that they value, and then by doing the different things that they value. How to make sure that you are feeling valued? Well, you tell them, and then you give them feedback as well. You do things like, for example, I was doing the sauna plus going outside while I was here taking care of my needs. And then I also went for a hike today. Those were things that I highly value. So you can provide yourself value, and then you can have others provide you value by simply just telling them what you value. Communication. Communication is key in so many different things. So yeah, just have conversations with others. Make sure they are doing things to value you. And then setting boundaries sometimes. Sometimes you got to set boundaries with people. If you're friends with people who are constantly just in that victim mode, in that down state, sometimes you just got to provide, sometimes you just got to let them know what your boundary is and let them know, hey, it doesn't work for me. Let's do something else. Let's do something fun. I would love to help you through what you're going through, as long as you're taking steps to be happy sometimes, not always play the victim. Sometimes there are some people you have to let go. If they're constantly in that down vibration, if they're constantly in a lower vibration, and when you're around them, you feel like you're then in that lower vibration, sometimes it's time to just say, you know what? Maybe let's not spend as much time with that person. All right? So communication is key. Let them know your values. You ask their values, provide those values, check in with them, making sure you're providing those values. Let them know, give them feedback to see if they're providing the values. Sometimes it's maybe get into a different relationship. Maybe it's a different job. Maybe it's a different friendship, different romantic relationship. Sometimes these things happen, and we have to know when it's okay to be able to say, I need something different for me because I want to be happy. I want to raise my vibration. And my goal for you in this video is to raise your vibration so that you're vibrating at the highest optimal level for you, because that spreads out throughout the entire world. The more you're vibrating at a higher level, the more those around you have the potential to do so as well. As always, in everything that you do, please choose love. Mahalo.